guest today, Devin Parr. Devin, are you on the phone?
Yes, she is. She's all excited about talking to you, Liam. The last time the two of you were together, you guys were talking hot sauce, and she looked at you like you were crazy that you can't taste wine with hot sauce. Isn't that right, Devin?
Well, spicy foods, spicy flavors are notoriously difficult to pair with wine. So we did our best.
We did. And I was very surprised because I had you don't really hear of a hot sauce wine pairing, especially where the guy who is making all the wines is comfortable doing that. I thought he'd turn us down.
We got through it.
We did.
Tasting hot sauce and wine's not a bad gig, so we made it work.
We did. It was great. It was nice actually, like with the spiciest hot sauce that I have, to pair it with a nice sweet wine, and with the least spicy to pair it with something more robust, and it really went well together.
Yeah, so typically when you're pairing wine and food, spicy heat is like the enemy of food. And when we think of really strong reds that have a lot of tannin, that sensation where your mouth dries, like that's what we call tannin, that is hot food, spicy food's enemy. And really high alcohol wines, that heat from the alcohol can really enhance the heat from spicy food. So, not a great pairing, but some of the softer wines, juicier wines with a little bit of sweetness are, kind of a dream for spicy food. We don't think of it, but they do pair nicely.
Kind of what I saw was when you guys were tasting that, the champagne went over really well.
Well, personally, I believe that bubbles go with anything. Yes, when in doubt, pop some bubbles. Always great with food.
So Devin, you're a wine consultant. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. I have my own consulting business, Devin, Parr & Associates, where I advise brands, regions, wine companies, primarily in the food and beverage space, but primarily in the wine space, on their PR, their marketing, their branding, their strategy. I have my WSET diploma, which is a wine credential. I was named one of Wine Enthusiast Magazine's top 40 under 40 tastemakers in 2017. So I studied in Italy for 2 years, studied wine there, culinary arts, and I've been in the business for about 15 years, and it's the love of my life, next to my husband and my kids. And
I noticed that you travel everywhere. In fact, you're calling in from Canada, right?
I am. Well, I was actually born in Canada, and my family has a house just north of Toronto, so we try to get here every year. We haven't been in about 2 years. We managed to make it work this year. But yes, I'm here, and I love the wine scene, of course, in Canada. Great wines are hard to find in the U.S., which I would love to work on at some point.
Well, yeah, that's right in your alley, huh?
Yes, exactly.
So, are you part of that frozen wine thing? What do they call that? The Germans are really
ice wine.
Go ahead.
Ice wine, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes. No, I love ice wine, and the beauty of ice wine is it's got that luscious sweetness. Great for spicy food, right? But it also has killer acidity. So when you get a wine that's just sweet, it's kind of cloying. The beauty of ice wine is that it has sweetness, but it also has high acid. So it's this delicious sort of sweet, tart sensation that you're getting in the wine. But, great wine is all about balance. You have all the elements, the sweetness, the tannin, the alcohol, the acidity, all in balance. That's what makes a great wine.
Well, you're making me think of a wine slushy. That's not what we're talking about, is it?
No, ice wine is not a wine slushy. That's a completely separate thing. But those two exist.
Oh, they do?
Yes,
no,
they
ice
do.
wine is where the grapes actually are frozen on the vine, and then that freezing actually concentrates the sugar there and evaporates some of that water, and so you're getting really concentrated sugars. And then when you go to ferment the wine, you're getting that sweet, luscious juice, but then, counterbalanced against the acid of the grapes.
So I'm assuming that these grapes are grown in higher altitudes, right?
They can be, but more it's cool climate. So, places like the Niagara Peninsula in Canada, places like Germany, you're getting those, quite cold temperatures that freeze the grapes into the fall and the winter months. And, you're getting the actual frozen grapes on the vine.
Now, we're coming into the Beaujolais season, right?
Yeah, around Thanksgiving time. The Beaujolais, in fact, wine made from the Gamay grape in the Beaujolais region in France, that's a great wine in general. But Beaujolais Nouveau is a very specific style of ready-to-drink, fruity, juicy, almost kind of soda pop red wine. There's diehard fans of Beaujolais Nouveau, and then there's the haters that feel it's just sort of bubblegum wine. But it's released around Thanksgiving every year, and it's just easy drinking, kind of what I would call a crushable light red wine.
But
Beaujolais in general, made from Gamay, is actually incredible, and there's a whole range of different Beaujolais, including the Cru Beaujolais, which I would equate to just a really high-end, delicious wine, kind of like a red Burgundy, if you will.
But isn't the average drinker of wine more concerned about the event than they are the actual wine itself? What I mean is that we have a wine tasting, right? That's an event. And 85% of wine drinkers like to drink wine at less than $25 a bottle, right?
We got the $2 chuck.
Yeah.
Well, oddly enough, we are seeing a trend toward premiumization of wine right now. So we are actually seeing people trading up when it comes to wine. They aren't that segment where it's $10 and under, even $15 and under, are not doing as well as the wines above $15 right now.
Oh, wow.
You can find pretty good wine. If you commit to spending over $15 on a bottle of wine, you can generally find something that's pretty decent. Once you get above $20, $25, quality goes up quite substantially.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But a lot of it is the label, right? Sometimes people confuse the label with the quality of the wine and the price, right?
Sometimes, when you get those bottles that have those cues that suggest a premium product, like the bottle's really heavy. And to be honest, there's a backlash right now against really weighty glass in terms of its impact on the environment and carbon footprint. That heavy glass that it's not great. But yeah, there's those premium cues, the texture label, the significant artwork, the true cork instead of synthetic. But at the end of the day, there are plenty of great wines with labels that, the producer has not spent all the money on labeling. They've actually put it into the wine. So, yes, I have been guilty of selecting wine based on the label. I think a lot of us do it. And I think great brands have managed to create an eye-catching label that really speaks to you and tells a story, but they've also put delicious, high-quality juice in the bottle.
Now, we in San Diego, we have some incredible vineyards, especially in Temecula Valley. Is that where you are typically located in that valley and on behalf of a lot of the vineyards there?
Yeah, so I am based in Southern California. I represent the region of Temecula Valley, Southern California wine country, about an hour outside of San Diego, not even an hour outside of San Diego, but Temecula Valley is centrally located within a 1 to 2 hour drive of Los Angeles, Orange County, Palm Springs, Riverside, San Diego. So it's this great, centrally located, incredible wine region that's growing and bustling right now, and there's just an awesome scene happening there in Temecula Valley, and the weather is perfect for growing grapes.
Yeah, because a lot of people put their nose up, right, when you talk about Temecula Valley, because based on the experience of the beginning of the Temecula Valley, but Temecula Valley has actually grown in quality and prestige, right?
Of course. It's come a long way, in particular in the last 10 years. The winemakers and the winery owners there have really invested in the technology and the research in terms of determining what grapes grow best in that Mediterranean climate. The technology to produce great wines coming together to get different equipment, research to really produce the best wines possible. And there's an awesome scene, some young winemakers out there experimenting with different grapes and blends and techniques. So it's definitely a region to watch. And again, a lot of people think Temecula Valley may be too hot to make wine. But what's incredible about that region is that we're about, 22 miles as the crow flies from the Pacific Ocean. So there is quite a significant ocean influence that people don't realize. There's a gap in the coastal mountain ranges. And on the other side of Temecula Valley, there's the desert. But as that hot air in the desert heats up, it rises, and then it creates this suction effect, pulling the cool coastal air inland through that gap in the mountains, creating breezy afternoons, actually quite frankly cold weather in the morning. I mean, I've been out there where it's chilly in the morning, breezy afternoons, cold nights, which is what the grapes want.
Well, I mean, that's probably why you're going to be our consultant for Wine, Women, and Wisdom, right?
I love it.
You're obviously demonstrating that you're very knowledgeable. So
it's the three things I love: wine and women. I love to support other women, in particular in their careers, and wine, women, wisdom. I love it. The trifecta, if you will.
Yes, indeed.
But the beauty of wine is that, like, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and the more you realize how much there is to know.
Exactly.
It's an exciting business.
Yeah, no, going to the winery, that was actually my first winery that I had been to, and just realizing, wow, I have no idea. This is a whole nother line of wisdom and understanding that I'm interested in. So I'm excited that you were on to give me and the audience a little bit of knowledge on wine in general.
Yeah, I love wine because it's this incredible fusion of agriculture and science, but then art and sort of history and, the people behind it, the stories of the vineyards. That's what I fell in love with, the people behind the wines and the sense of tradition and family. And, the engagement of all of your senses is incredible.
Well, you won't believe this, but we've run out of time, Devin. So we're going to have you come back, and we're going to go into art and all the other interesting facts that you're bringing to the table.